Hey y'all, hey! Welcome to Rest Mama. I am so excited when I tell you about what this podcast means to me. Brief introduction. My name is Agatha. I will be the host of Rest Mama. Um, so yeah, a little bit about me. I'm 40 years old. I am a mother to three. I'll talk about them a little bit later as I go into my story a little bit. I've been a mama for, not counting my goddaughter, which I feel like I was first introduced to motherhood through her. She'll be 25 this year. But birthing three children, I've been a mom for 18 years. I was a married mama, then I became a divorced single mom. So I feel like I have all the expertise, knowledge, and know-how of what motherhood is and what it looks like on both ends of the spectrum. I love my job as a mom. I think every day, for God allowing me to be the mother of my three kids. My three kids are amazing. I love, 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 love. And I like my kids. So that's a plus. But I'm so excited. I'm so happy that you guys joined me. I cannot wait to kind of dive into what we're going to be talking about within the next couple of episodes. I think it's very important that it's now time and place for everything. This organization, this company, even this podcast has been a dream of mine to start and build for a very long time. A lot of the time I didn't, a lot of the time, y'all, I'm country. Let's just put it there. I'm probably going to be saying some slang and y'all probably going to be like, girl, what? But a lot of the time of me, writing and thinking about or knowing what my purpose is, it didn't have a name to it up until most recently. And so I'm just pretty excited of launching it. This is not my first go at podcasting. I've been a part of a couple of podcasts. I've been interviewed on some podcasts before. So I'm pretty excited about starting something on my own. I feel like in my journey in life where I am right now, sorry if you guys see a little bit of them tatas, it's late. But I'm so thankful of the journey that I have went through to get to this point to kind of share um, this amazing thing that I think that I've been placed to see through. So, just to give a little input of what Rest Mama is, it is called that Rest Mama. It's actually called Rest Mama Incorporated, but it's a nonprofit that I have had dear to my heart. I haven't shared it with a lot of people. I don't really talk about it much, but it is something that, like I said, has been placed on my heart dearly. It just didn't have a name to it. Um, I've been operating in this space, in this realm for a very long time. I've had experience and knowledge in nonprofits and building them up from the ground up and seeing them through things of that nature. So I think that it is now time for this to shine. Like I said, I am a mama, so I know the know-hows of what it is being a mom, being married, being divorced and single, and just interacting with people on a daily basis. It is not one day that I do not cross a mother that I know can benefit from Rest Mama Incorporated. It is a nonprofit, but it will have two sides to it. There will be a side where you'll see me operating in a different capacity, but the main goal and source is the nonprofit. It is to provide community resources, training, education, everything far few in between, but also provide a safe space for moms to come, whether it's you listening to the podcast, whether it's you watching it on video, or, hopefully down the line, we all get to come together and really just love on one another. Like my main goal is for the community to have strengthened through other resources outside of myself of what I know and people, and have us all connected. The most beautiful thing that I've ever experienced in my life is being with a group of people that are all like-minded strangers from all over parts of the world coming together and really, 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 really forming a sisterhood, a bond, or whatever the case may be. If you watch a video and you see me clicking the computers, because that's part of my lighting, I am production. But if you're listening audio and you hear me click, that's what I'm doing. 2, this podcast gonna be very unfiltered. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. I do got 3 kids. And going into that, I guess I can pour into a little bit before hopping back into my reasoning why for Rest Mama. I have 3 kids. I call them Marshall 1, 2, and 3 because who got time to remember kids' names? Nah, but I do literally call them Marshall 1, 2, and 3, but their government names is Cameron, Soraya, and Carter. Cameron is my oldest. He will be going to college in the fall. I cannot believe I have a college student. I feel like I just got out of college. Real talk. Dead ass. 2, disclaimer before I go into the other child. I do cuss a little bit. I love the Lord. Jesus is my homeboy and everything like that. And I believe in God, but I will cuss just a little bit. A cuss word may slip out, okay? So, y'all, please don't hold it to me. Don't judge me, okay? Back to my kids. Soraya, she is 14. She is my princess. She's the only girl of the group. She is mama hen when I'm not here. I kind of love her for that. It's not a requirement that I require her to do. She just naturally is a born leader when it comes to mothering people. And she helps me raise that youngest one, which is Carter. It's so funny, this Mother's Day, Carter told me Happy Mother's Day. Then he turned and looked at Soraya and told her Happy Mother's Day. And she's like, I'm not your mom. But literally, when mommy is not present, she is there for him. And I appreciate that because she doesn't have to do it. I don't require her to do it, but she is amazing at doing it. And so I show her appreciation in helping me out. And then there's Carter, who is Carter. If you know me and you know my kids, you know Carter is the boy of the group. Cam tricked me when I had him because I thought that all kids were going to be like him. He was the best baby ever. I had good kids when they were babies, but he was the best. And I could have 10 of him. But then Carter came along, and I'm thankful that Carter was the last because I don't know if I could have another one after Carter. He's not a bad child. He's just busy. And it brings life to the house because when he's not here, the house just sits still. But when he's here, you literally feel the rumbling in the floors because he's running from one end of the house to the other. And it just brings me joy just to hear them all in the house. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do when they all leave. I don't want to talk about it because I'm going to get emotional. But yes, Carter is the third and the last of the Mohicans. Okay. But jumping back into what Rest Mama is all about, the reason being as to why I started it's a couple of things. It has a lot to do with my story and everything that I endured from childhood up until now and my big age of 40. Most recently, part of the reasoning why I've launched the podcast is some things that I'll talk about just a little bit later once I get to them. But going back to Rest Mama and how it came about, like I said, I knew what my purpose was over my life a long time ago. God had revealed it to me, if you believe in any of that. But I knew what my purpose on this earth was, right? And so I thought that when I did one thing, like, oh, that's completed my purpose. And he was like, no, there's more. And so it's kind of like I saw the whole picture, but still God gave me my purpose in pieces. And so the first thing that I did was I created a cookbook, and then I launched another one. But my first cookbook was Come Eat with Aggie. And it was centered around sitting at a table, like if you're a vision, you're sitting at a big round table, and every walks of life come and they sit at this table. And that's what people would say. Like, I could sit at a table and really just connect with everybody, regardless of where they were in their walk in their life, their race, color, creed, religion, sexual orientation. It did not matter. If you met Agatha, you know that Agatha was not a stranger to you. And when we left, we were going to either be sisters, cousins, friends for life, right? And so I developed the Come Eat with Aggie because I love to cook. It's a hobby of mine. It's not a a trade. I don't cook for people, but I just love to cook. It helps me decompress, things of that nature. So I am I literally just developed that book. So I thought that was it. And then um I remember God telling me, like, as long as one person did it, you've done what I told you to do. And so after that, he unlocked a little bit more of my purpose, and I started, dipping and dabbing into help managing people. And I had done it before, but I wanted to turn that business into a management company to help people build their businesses. So I help people start their nonprofits, their actual businesses. I worked for a publishing company. I did a whole lot during that time frame. And then the second time he told me to write the second book, and it literally was to show people how to cook on a budget, like to eat on a budget. And I had a small group, and my small group was so big that I had to turn people away because I just couldn't house everybody. But I literally took, I'm a foodie. And so I would go out to restaurants and taste, not, and spend money on a dish, an appetizer, an entree, and dessert. And then I would try to come home and make that on a budget. When I talk about on a budget, like $20. And I did it, and I had a small group for it. I will pause and say this, that I have kids, and just bear with me just 1 second. Card Karen! Y'all too loud. I'm still recording. Tell Cameron. Thank you. Like, why are you hollering? It is 12. It is 1 o'clock a.m. Back to what I was saying. So I wrote the feed book, and then it went crazy. And I when I launched that book, I was able to also bless over 300 people with the book for free. It's crazy. Like, I sold that many books that there was the church was my church was doing a giveaway, and they were giving away groceries, and it placed on my heart to give my book away, and 300 people reached out, and I was able to give 300 people a copy of my book. It was wild. I never seen anything like that. So I thought that was it. All right, I'm done. I made my mark, things of that nature, and then the panini happened and things of that nature. I got burned out really, 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 really bad. And then in the midst of all of that, I was going through a divorce. And so, um, yeah, now I have to navigate on how to be a single mother, even though I felt like I was a single mother when I was married, because at that time when I was married, my ex-husband had acquired a job overseas in the Middle East. So we lived on the stateside for quite a bit, and then we moved over to the Middle East, and we stayed over there for 4 years. And then after 4 years, after 10 months of me having Carter, I found out some things, and I came home. And then when I came back home, I yeah, I struggled a whole lot. And I'll go into this piece before I get into reasoning why Rest Mama is launched and what catapulted that. But um, my dad had a stroke November of 2023. He stayed in the hospital for 84 plus days. We almost lost him maybe 3 to 4 times. And yeah, he has to have full care. So he has to be taken care of 24 hours, 7 days a week by someone because he had a stroke, which caused a brain bleed. He had to have 3 brain surgeries, which he lost all ability to talk, walk, swallow, do everything on his own. Like, he can't do anything. But he came out the hospital great, and we put him through an aggressive rehabilitation program, and he had rehab 3 days a week. So this one particular day, he told me to no, I told him that I was going to come see him, but he had rehab that day, and just something told me to just get up, get dressed, and go see him. So I surprised him at rehab. And when I got there, he was in speech, and he told me during speech very clearly, I need to talk to you about something when we leave here. And his speech therapist was like, that was clear, because mind you, we have to teach him how to talk again, and his sentences weren't that clear. And so he had therapy for like 3 hours that day. And I didn't think anything of it. Put him in the car, getting ready to go, and he looks at me. He says, "You need to finish that book." And I said, "Okay." Mind you, my dad had no idea that I was writing another book, let alone a book. Now he knew I had my cookbooks, and I always share with him like, "Oh, Daddy, I'm writing another cookbook," because he and I love watching Food Network and things of that nature. But he never knew that I was writing books. He said, "You need to finish that book," and I said, "Okay, Daddy." He says, "Yeah." He says, "Because it's going to touch a lot of lives." And I said, "Okay, Dad." I got in my car and I cried. I wept. My dad never knew that I was writing a book, and he never knew what I had prayed for prior to even coming to his rehabilitation, because I remember I like to journal. I love to journal. I'll journal any at a drop of a dime, whatever the case may be. And I remember saying, "Damn it, Lord." I God know I cuss. But I literally said, "Damn it, like when is it going to be my time? I'm done resting. I've went through my dry season. I went through my sabbatical. I'm ready. Like I'm ready." And I remember that I didn't hear anything. And so to hear that from my dad, and I'm thinking like, "Lord, is that you?" I came home, I sat down, I opened the draft of the book, and I saw that I hadn't touched that book since May of 2023. Like I told you, my dad had a stroke November 2023, and between that time, he didn't know I was writing a book. So I said, okay. So I started writing it. And then I stopped. My dad went back into the hospital in May. He had a severe, really bad infection that put him back into the hospital. And this time we didn't think he was gonna make it out. He was down bad, when I tell y'all. And he had gotten so bad that he told me that that I wasn't gonna see him the day that one day I had left. He told me, he was like, "I'm glad you came by because I might not make it through the night." And it was bad, y'all. It was so bad. But I got there the next day, and he had come out of it. And it literally, like, it. I don't know if you've ever experienced someone being sick and you can see them one day and it's like the life is sucked out of them, and then the next day it's brought back. That's visually how it was. Like he looked like a skeleton, and then the next day, like life was back in him, and his face was fuller. He sits up in the bed, mind you, he don't remember nothing. And he looks me dead in my eyes and says, "Did you finish that book?" And I said, "No, Daddy, but I'm working on it." And baby, that day I left, I work at night. I talk a little bit about what I do, but I do work a night shift. And from that moment on up until I launched my book, June 21st, I wrote a chapter a night. And here it is. So excited. It's called 7,000 Miles, a testament to the indomitable power of perseverance. It talks about my story from childhood, what I endured from childhood, teenage years, to meeting my ex-husband, going through the trauma that I've experienced through my marriage, and then coming out of it and still persevering. It's if you want to know the tea, and I'll read you guys a little bit of it. Let me go to the introduction. So basically, it starts off by me talking about my life and things of that nature, and the most important people that were important to me in my life, I lost. But in the interim, it says, and I'm gonna start at this place. It says, well, let me set the scene. The scene is my ex-husband. He worked long hour shifts, and he usually worked 6 days a week, and so he only had one day off. And this one day we had to take care of everything because I didn't drive. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I homeschooled the kids. And so on the day that he was off, we knew that we had so much to do so he can get back and rest up because he had to go to work the next day. But this is what it is. It wasn't uncommon for a lot of things, but this day I just woke up with, it felt weird and odd. So normally if he left that day, he would wake me up and tell me that he was gone and that he would come back. He knew I hated going to the barbershop, so he would wake me up. But this day, when I woke up, he wasn't in the room. And so I talk about it in the beginning of the book, and I says, as I stepped out of my room, I discovered my daughter happily playing in her room. The baby sounds emanated from the front room where my dad was, and when I checked on my oldest son, to my surprise, I found my husband fast asleep in his room. Perplexed, I woke him and inquired why he was there. He sat up and he uttered, I can no longer do this. Pause. At this point, we were in the third month of a strained communication following a heated argument. The dynamics had shifted and I attributed it to his work-related stress. Returning to the moment on the edge of the bed, I was trying to process his words, I can no longer do this. My immediate thought went to the possibility that he had quit his job and we were headed back to the States, a topic we had discussed prior to the altercation. I'll prepare us to go home, whatever decision you've made, I responded. He replied, no, I can no longer take care of you or be with you. And that was October of 2016, and that was the day that my marriage ended and I became a single mother. So I wrote the book. If you want the tea, get it. Um, also, I also wrote another journal, but I'll talk about it a little bit later. I love journaling, so I created my own journal for myself. It's a 30-day guide for success, self-discovery, and growth. So I created this journal and I just published it. And then I thought, why not release it to the world? So I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth because it actually helps me kind of prioritize my time, things of that nature. So I'll go into a little bit more about that one. But 7,000 Miles, if you want it, it's available on all platforms. I will make sure I will give you guys my socials, and you can follow me on all social media platforms except Twitter because I don't deal with Twitter. I ain't got time. I ain't got time to deal with Twitter. Okay. But I'm on all the other ones. All right. You can get the book there. It's also on my site and it is available at Amazon. So we're there. So daddy told me to write the book. I wrote the book. So then it came to the point where, okay, you need to, it's almost as if the Holy Spirit was saying, you need to jump. Like it's time for you to go ahead and launch Rest Mama. Cause I'm very particular about time and there's a reason and a time for everything. And I just want to make sure I need to do it. And God, I guess God was like, girl, I'm tired. Like I'm ready. Because if you don't do what I told you to do, I'm gonna find somebody else. And I don't want nobody else to do what God's told me to do. I feel like, no, I got it. So maybe about a couple of months ago, it was in this whole writing of this book, dealing with my dad, things of that nature. So one day I was taking my kids to school and we were running late. Mind you, my this was the day my dad, he wasn't sick yet. Because I was still working at the other job. Anyways, I was running late for work, whatever the case may be. I don't think my daddy was here or whatever the case may be. Running late. I'm at a stoplight and all of a sudden this SUV T-bones a truck, like literally T-bones, but it was the truck's fault. The truck kind of pulled out in front of the SUV and the SUV had the right of way. T-bones the truck. Um, I'm sitting at the light. Everybody's going around because we late. We live in Atlanta. We know how traffic is. Nobody want to be late for work. So I said, well, let me get out and see if everyone's okay because now at this point the cars are smoking. So I go to the truck and I look in and it was two guys in there and they said that they were fine. So I go over to the SUV and there's this mama and this little girl and this baby is just crying. She had to be like 10, 11, 12, but she was crying hysterically. So I was like, okay. So there was another lady on the other side of me. We were at the same light, but she was like it was like my car and her car. She gets out. She's a nurse. She's assessing the situation. I said, the car is smoking and I don't know if it's going to blow. We need to get them out. So I called 911 to get the okay to have them moved. And then as I'm trying to get the baby girl and the mama out the car, I look in the back seat and there are three more babies in the back. Two of them were brand new infants. Like they were tiny infants, a little boy and a little girl, twins. And then there was another little girl. She probably was about 5 or 6. Um, So we get them out the car. One baby's still sleeping, and the other baby is crying. So we're trying to assess them. Police come, ambulance come, things of that nature. I give the mom my information because I worked in every industry known to man. I have, literally, y'all. And it plays into why this rest mama exists. But I said, hey, I have some. I used to work for one of these major insurance companies in America, and I worked in the total loss division of the claims department. Uh, Call me if you need any assistance in filing a claim, et cetera, et cetera. I'm here to help. Now, when you're in an accident, you don't think to call people because people give you your number, but you don't call them. Adrenaline, shock, everything says in, you don't forget. But she calls me. And when she calls me, she dumps everything on me. I mean, from in the beginning to where she was in that accident, right? And I could not believe that this woman didn't have a village. She didn't have the support. Um, she had lost her job. It was a lot. When I tell y'all, it was almost as if she needed someone to just blah everything on. And I'm always in situations like that, right? And so I said, okay. So I went to my social media. I said, anybody want to give to this mom? She lost her job. She now don't have a car. I want to do more. I can assist with only so much, and I want to do more. So on social media, I launched it. People started sending in stuff to her. I reached back out to her. I guess I don't know if she don't remember. I don't know, but I got her address and I took her link down. It's on my social media, my Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram at Agatha_Inc., you'll see the link to her, and her address is on there. So anything that you buy goes directly to her. Now because it was coming to me, and then it was a hard time trying to get her to get the things back and forth because she didn't have a car. So now everything's going to fully go to her. So if you want to support, you can support her. But I don't want to go too much into her story because eventually I want to bring her on to the show because she, along with my dad, is the reason why we have Rest Mama. I come about the name was good earlier in that day of the accident. My friend had sent me a picture and it had the word rest on it. And I had just was going through it with my emotions. And this is the friend I feel like that has the direct connect to God. Like she is the COO of his customer care center. I don't know how she knows, but she knows every time. And she sent me that message. And when I got home that day, I looked at the message again and it just downloaded on me. You know, like a computer and it's like the black screen and all the white code and all that stuff. It felt like that. So I immediately got my journal and I just started writing everything that my brain was processing. And I kept saying, that's it, that's it, that's it. Agatha, you've been through this. Agatha, you know what it's like not having the support that you need. You know what it's like being at despair. You know where it's like being in debt. You know where it's like having financial hardship. You know what it's like mothering children when you didn't choose this life. Like I didn't choose to be a single mom. I thought I was going to be with my husband for the rest of my life. Like I said, I do. Thick and thin, to death do us part. I didn't want to be a single mama. But then I got to thinking, like, you know, a lot of people. You have so many resources at your hand, and two, like, you've done just about everything, girl. I've worked in telecommunications, utilities, insurance, hospitality. I've been an entrepreneur. Worked in the nonprofit sector. I've worked in automotive industry. I've also worked in I'm a bail bondsman now. Like, and my degree and my background is in law. So go figure that you have and I've always sat and was like, Lord, why am I going through this? Like Why? It's almost as if God puts me in places for only a time frame, and when my grace is up, my grace is up. You know, like some people can be on their job for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That's not how God has my life lined up. I've worked in the music industry. Like I literally the entertainment industry. I worked in the production industry. Like I have so many resources at my hand, and not the fact that I've worked in these industries. Like I know the CEOs of some company, and I've been CEOs of some company. I have direct line and connection to people. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally have the resources, and so that's where Rest Mama was birthed. Because imagine a mom who doesn't know where to go, and literally is trying to figure out everything from finances to housing to food to clothing, to career to whatever, and can be able to come to a place and be vulnerable enough to share that I need the help, and this place never turns anyone away. Like that's my vision. Like I'd be in situations where a mom can be stopped on the side of the road because they have a battery or a tire issue, and I'll say, well, let's go get a battery or let's go get a tire because that's going to fix your problem. You know what I'm saying? I, I've been in situations where my car, I had to jump start my car or I couldn't turn my car. This recently just happened like last year, where I couldn't turn my car off and I had to keep jumping it off every time if I did turn it off, and I had to have a portable battery pack. um but my goodness, where would it have been when I could just pick up the phone and call Rest Mama and be like, I need a battery and I can't afford it. And the battery is bought. Like, to the point where I can call up my roadside assistance guy and say, "Go help this mama. She's on the side of the road. She's in need," and they can go and give her whatever she need at no cost to her. That literally will put a mother at ease, because how many times you as moms have had to choose between, am I going to feed my children, or I'm going to pay the light bill? Do I pay my mortgage, or do I put groceries in the house? I need transportation to get to work. So do I sacrifice paying something to get this car fixed? Or do we go and only eat noodles for the rest of the week? Like that is not a good way to live, because most people don't choose to be a single mother. And then it goes to the point where I do have knowledge of being married and being a mom, and what relief would it have been that if I was married and I just had a place to just go to and rest and not have to hear the word mama. Thankfully, we thank goodness and we thank God for having our children, but being able to be like, I I need a break. This whole house, the husband, the kids, and the dog, and the fish and the hamster or the hermit crab, whatever, is on my nerve. And be like, can I just come to the Rest Mama house for 4 days, 3 nights, and all expenses are paid, including flights, and then whatever resources that they need back at home is taken care of. Like that's what my vision of Rest Mama has always been. The organization that I always wanted to create has always been that, and this is what it's come to be, is Rest Mama. So everywhere I go, I'm always encompassed by helping someone out. Whether it's a single mom, where it's a married mom, but you have widow moms, and you have women that choose single parenthood by choice. Like there's always going to be a need and a resource for it. So say all that to say that this is where we are. There needs to be a community. There's not anything like this. I hate to see mothers having to be put through the system and only given resources for a certain amount of time. You have to fight and plead. You have to be almost damn near poor. Like when I tell you that government assistance, I've lived in countries where there was no such thing as welfare, because it was a God-given right for that country to take care of its citizens. Like when I birthed Carter in the Middle East, baby, his hospital bill was only $1,200 versus an 100K that it took me to birth Soraya and Cameron here in the United States. Like, where are the resources for that? That if a mom who is single, she's the only caregiver of her kids, is taking care of mortgage. She's taking care of all the bills, food, clothing for them kids. When the last time you had to go to Walmart on the last fly or Target on the last fly and having to go get a project, supplies for a project? Like, I've been in situations like that. Or you're working so hard that you still cannot afford your housing, and you have that burden of, I'm about to lose my home. No, you come stay in my community of my 150 housing community that I'm planning on building, that in any event that if you do run into hardship, because it's going to be financed by Rest Mama, that if you do run into hardship, you will never lose your home. You will never lose your home. You will never lose your car, because Rest Mama will have a dealership where you can get a car, and it'll be a nice car. And you'll never lose your car if you are in a hardship or you're literally on your own trying to take care of your kids. I hate the statistic, and I hate hearing it, and I hate seeing it, that the reasoning why society suffers is because it starts at home, and the majority of it comes from single parent homes. A lot of these mamas didn't think that they were going to be single. But yeah, she does have to work 2 or 3 jobs to at least keep the roof over the heads and the lights on and food in the house. So she might not be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we shame her because she has to take care of her home. And so therefore her children are raised by the streets, unfortunately, or in organizations, or just hanging around the wrong people. Unfortunately, that stuff does happen. But what do we do? Where are the people? Where are the resources? What happens when the government can no longer support people like that? Like, what? Who? You know who? Me. So that's my gist of what Rest Mama is to me. I'm pretty excited. Like I said, both of these books, this is the start of it. Of what Rest Mama is. 50% of the proceeds of this journal goes back into Rest Mama, because the only reason why I say 50% is because it literally is going to help mamas keep track of their life. I know we all have calendars, journals, and things of that nature, but I want 50% of this to go back in. And then 50% of the proceeds of 7,000 miles will go back into Rest Mama too as well. I am also developing a whole lot more. Be on the lookout for apparel, jewelry, and accessories like cups and things of that nature. I'm excited, y'all. I haven't been excited about something that I personally wanted to do. I could pull out journals and tell you guys this been written for years. Like this idea has been written for years, and I feel like I've had to go through so much in order to get to this space and this spot, and literally just more so focus on what the task at hand. I'm pretty excited about these next couple of episodes. Gonna have some guests, some people that you guys may know, some people that I'm gonna be introducing you to, some bomb ass moms. Like, y'all don't understand, because I know a lot of mamas. But also, I will be bringing in those people that are surrogate moms, like bomb ass aunties or bomb ass godmoms or anything like that. Like, if you've had that mother capacity where you've been a mother in some shape, form, or fashion, they probably are going to be on here. So, and like I said, very unfiltered. Y'all heard them children hollering in there? I'm not cutting that out. Because that makes it definitely not real and not relatable. Like, I'm an everyday mom, just as much as everybody else. I don't have much, but I have enough. God has kept me, baby. When I tell you, what he don't play about is me, and he has kept me. And the only way that I know how is to be obedient with what he's telling me to do. So I'm super super excited because I cannot wait to talk about some of the topics, and I'm going to give you guys just a preview of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about balance and work and parenting, because that is one of the toughest. That and time management. Stop playing with me. An organization. Baby, I have to be in 5 places at one time, especially if you have multiple kids that are different ages and in different grade levels and in different schools. Baby, at one time I had a middle schooler, I mean, a elementary school, a middle school, and a high school. And sometimes their events was, I had to be at 3 places at one time. I've literally sometimes had to be in 3 different locations at one time, that sometimes are like 45 minutes to an hour away. So we're going to talk about that and how we can manage that. One day actually helps with that. My one day journal is literally that. Like, what are my goals one day? Like, what do I want to pursue towards, or work hard towards one day? Like, my one day is that. Like, one day I'm gonna have all of it. Financial planning and budgeting, baby. I'm actually gonna bring someone on. Probably about 4th episode to kind of talk about it. I'm working out the details for that. I'm pretty excited because she got my life together one time before, and then I kind of stayed on it, and then I didn't. And so really, 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 really want to talk to her. And then I also have another person I want to bring on about how to invest into your future, and the numbers speak for itself with them. Self-care and mental health, co-parenting and custody issues. That's one of the biggest things that I had to learn thankfully enough, my ex-husband and I were able to develop a co-parenting plan. It's not all peaches and cream, and it could be better, but it is what it is. Building a supportive network, parenting strategies, health and wellness. 7,000 miles begins on talking about my health and the things that I had to experience and some decisions I had to make because of my health that I dealt with that put me into another health crisis, aka depression. So we're going to talk about that, career advancement, inspirational stories. I have some bombs, women that have some amazing stories outside of me that I would love to have you guys listen on. Child development and education, legal rights and resources. That's another thing. I just had a conversation with my daughter yesterday about navigating that piece and the responsibility that I have as a single mom that makes my life a little bit harder because I am a single mom and all that jazz. Housing, relocation, single motherhood by choice, and then dating as a single mom. I cannot wait to get into that, baby. Because I want to be married again one day. I love marriage. It's hard. It's hard, no doubt, but I want to be married again one day. And dating it's weird. Especially if you have multiple children. In this society, like, everybody has a podcast and a mic. So it's very hard. It dating as I don't think it's hard for the single men, single fathers, because every woman would date a single father, regardless if he had 1 child or 50. They still would date him. But a single mama, it's like we taboo. Uh, baby, it's a lot. I can't wait to talk about that. That's like one of my favorite episodes I'm ready to talk about because I have a few dating stories. I was in a relationship or 2 or 3 after my ex-husband. One relationship I really thought I was gonna get married again, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna tell you, um, the most important thing that I've learned as being a single mom and as well as a divorced single mom is that I don't have to take shit. I don't have to take shit from nobody. Like, it is what it is. It's not hard out here to go get ping because they give it up just as easy. But to have someone that literally loves you and doesn't consider your children baggage and loves your children as if they were their own, it's hard out here. So I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it. So, but anyways, baby, that's stressing me out. I ain't scratching my head all day and now I'm scratching my head because that's gonna be a doozy. I think I want to bring on a special guest for that one because um that also ties into co-parenting because now I'm a single mama and I'm dating and I got another man's kids and then I'm bringing another. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. So I am so excited. I thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. Share with your mom and them, cousin them, auntie them, grandma, uncle, brother, sister, them. Um, yeah, share, listen. If you have any questions or you want topics that you want me to discuss, let me know. I promise you I probably know somebody. If you want a special guest, like just let me know. Like I said, I want this to be a safe space for mommies, regardless if you're married, if you're single, if you're a single parent by a mother by choice, you're a widow, single mom at this point. Like I really, really, really want this to be a safe place for all of us. Um, thank you once again. Like I said, you can get all of my name if you just type in my name in Google, it'll all show up. My name is Agatha Marshall. But my books, 7,000 Miles and One Day, they are both on my website, myagateshop.com. It actually is linked not only in my Instagram bio under Agatha underscore Inc. That's my personal page. But Rest Mama also has a page, and I'll make sure I link it there at Rest Mama Incorporated on Instagram. Facebook is Agatha Marshall or Rest Mama Incorporated on Facebook. And then TikTok is a Gate Shop on TikTok. But if you type in Agatha, I'm pretty sure I'll pull up. And then Rest Mama Incorporated on TikTok. So yeah, we're pretty much everywhere. But subscribe to my podcast everywhere you receive podcasts on every platform. Y'all, come on. We got to make this happen. I know we can. I know we can build this community. I know we can build these resources. I know we can help each other out so we can have an easy life. I don't think that we were all meant to live life struggling. I don't believe that the creator that have, if you've ever traveled anywhere outside of wherever you are, you know the beauty in what the creator has created. I've been in some most I've been to places and I've traveled I've traveled all over the world. If you can't see, let's see if you see that. But this is my map. And my map shows all the countries that I've traveled to. And baby, I done been all over. I done touched almost every continent in the world outside of Antarctica. Um, I haven't been to South America, which I do have a trip planned here soon. It's in like a year. And haven't been to Greenland. But everywhere else, I done touched almost. And I've seen some beautiful places and I've experienced some beautiful people and things. And I just don't believe that our Almighty created us to struggle and to not have a community and not have the resources that are out there. I just I refuse to believe that. So here we are. I thank you guys so much. I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all for taking the time out to listening to me ramble. And yeah, can't wait to launch the next episode for you guys. So my standard mantra that you'll probably always hear me say is Love you, mean it. Make good choices. Be a leader. Don't be average. Be savage. Ladies, you're beautiful. Fellas, y'all got this. And fellas, if you're listening and you know a mama that can benefit from this podcast, share it with her. Okay? And remember, the marathon will always continue. All right. Love y'all. Mean it. Bye.